Welcome to 4 Good Minutes, which I know will go longer, but we are very lucky and blessed today to have Mitch Cahn from Unionwear in New Jersey with us, right on the eve of Manufacturing Day. So Friday, October 1st is Manufacturing Day. Our business, metal recycling, we obviously focus on the metal manufacturers and those who support that. But we thought it would be really important to start this week out with an industry that a lot of Americans probably think have been left for dead for domestic options, and that's the textile industry. When our company was out looking for shirts and hats and merchandise, about 6 months ago, we started the process of our supply chain and said, let's see if we can ask the question every time, can this be made in America? Is it made in America? Is there an option? And I was pushing, and we were lucky enough to find Unionwear first. And let's just talk to Mitch about his industry, because as I said, I think a lot of Americans would be stunned to know that things can be made in America in the textile industry. So Mitch, tell us a little bit about your company.
Sure. So we're about 30 years old. I'm the founder of the business. We manufacture baseball hats and all sorts of bags, from backpacks to messenger bags to garment bags. And we also make binders and portfolios. Everything that we make is made in one facility in Newark, New Jersey, by our 150 or so union represented sewers. And we do all of our own cutting and sewing and decoration here. Everything we made is made on a quick turn basis to order. So we don't inventory things. We get orders and we punch it out, whether it's a hat or a bag or a portfolio. And we service a number of different segments of industries. And what they all have in common is they have a reason why they've decided to buy made in America merchandise. They've specifically sought out something made in America. Now, it might not be for patriotic reasons. It might be that the reason that they want made in America is because they can't get something fast enough from overseas, or the product that they're manufacturing has raw materials that are only available domestically. But usually it falls into a number of different categories of reasons why people are buying made in USA.
Absolutely. And the first question, which I know everyone's going to have, how in the world can you compete?
So we don't compete with overseas. We basically say we're made in America. We're not going to compete on price. We're going to charge a fair price for what it is that we manufacture, and we hope that we're going to convince enough people that they should buy domestic. Now, a lot of times the difference in price is nowhere near as big as people think.
No, it was negligible. It was negligible when we researched you.
In the fashion industry, particularly with a lot of the larger public companies, the buyers are motivated. They have metrics that they use where they look at unit price. And on a unit price basis, it's going to be more expensive. But when you factor in all of the overhead and the tariffs and the waiting and the prepayments and all of the different risks, I mean, from privacy to terrorism to people stealing your intellectual property and all those other things, and you put a monetary value on it, it's often less expensive to manufacture in the United States than it is overseas. We have a few other things in our favor. One is automation has really leveled the playing field. And this is a recent phenomenon in the textile business. There has been automation in the textile business, but it's been really expensive. And until a couple of years ago, the fashion companies would just move to a cheaper country. Well, I think they basically just ran out of cheaper countries. And got to be so big that, really China and Southeast Asia are still the least expensive places to make stuff. And when everything's factored in, they're not that inexpensive. So automation has helped. Lean manufacturing has helped by helping us focus on keeping our labor, our unit production costs low, even though our labor cost is high. And things like re-engineering products have have definitely helped. So, for example, our bags. If someone sends me a bag and there's no origin label on it, I know whether it was made in the USA or made in China by the way it was made. Because in China and in other places in Asia, companies throw labor at a problem to solve a problem, like wasting fabric. That they'll do things like put a seam in the bottom of a tote bag so they don't have such large pieces of fabric to work with, which will waste less fabric, but it will weaken the bag and increase labor costs. So we take all of our products, all of our hats, all of our bags, and we engineer them for a high labor cost environment so that we can remain competitive.
Absolutely. And I think what a lot of people probably, but when I found out that you guys were actually in New Jersey, one of the higher cost of living states, it made what your company does even more impressive to me. The fact that you guys can do that and are committed to that, staffing neighbors. And you mentioned patriotism. Patriotism is part of it. The other part is just wanting our neighbors and our friends to have jobs, because if they have jobs and they're making things, we're all going to have jobs and make things. If they all go away, none of us are going to have jobs. It's that simple almost.
Yeah. So putting an American label inside your product helps your company or your organization demonstrate its commitment to the American economy and the American worker. And that's extremely valuable. And companies are willing to pay a small premium for that. So when you take all those things under consideration, it's not as difficult to compete with overseas manufacturers as you would think. And I'm surprised there aren't a lot more manufacturers domestically of textile products.
So Mitch, can you give us some surprises, some industries or some products that a lot of Americans would be stunned that are made in America? Because you have really taken it, not just promoting your own business, you realize that if you promote other American businesses, you can help everyone at the same time. Are there some other industries that we'd be surprised that are made in America?
Mm-hmm. So I think if you want to identify which businesses are going to have success manufacturing in America outside of our own business, a couple of things you want to look for. One is size of the product, and another is the relationship of the cost of the materials to the cost of the labor. All right. So for example, washing machines, they're very large, take up a lot of space in containers. Container space is very limited right now. Washing machines and a lot of large appliances are made domestically. And then when it comes to raw materials being expensive, things like really expensive leathers, you're going to find a lot of handbags made domestically. I think it was Louis Vuitton opened a factory in Texas to manufacture their handbags. And one of the reasons for that is that when the material costs hundreds of dollars in a bag, the difference of a couple of dollars in labor costs are not going to make that big of a difference, because the tariffs and those other add-ons that occur with these products are going to make the product more expensive than producing them domestically. So those are some examples. As far as industries that are purchasing made in USA products and going out of the way to purchase that, the biggest category would be the manufacturers themselves. Mm-hmm. Budweiser, Chrysler, those are types of companies that make a big deal selling their product as made in USA. So it's risky for them to give away merchandise that says made in China on the inside of it when the outside says the name of their company and made in USA. It's a mixed message. So we've really seen most of our growth over the last 10 years come from companies like that. Also, any company that is concerned about violations in their supply chain, labor and safety violations, any company that's concerned or interested in promoting buying local, any company that's interested in promoting their commitment to the environment is not going to order a product that gets shipped halfway around the world and manufactured in a country that does not have the same labor or environmental standards that we do. So Union Made in USA is going to check a lot of boxes. It's going to check sweat free, living wage, buy local, environmentally sound, etc.
Excellent. We really applaud you. Now, I have to say, you're going to be back for a few more episodes of a 4 Good Minutes, because we could go way many good minutes. And just even talking about the automation is so interesting to me. So we're going to have you back. But let me just end with Christmas, because it's starting to get a little hype, and a lot of people don't realize you're very hooked in on understanding supply chains. What do you think we are going to see for Christmas?
We're going to see a lot of empty shelves for Christmas. And that's going to, there's going to be shortages of materials. Vendors are quoting shipping times into January.
Wow.
Now, the larger companies like the Costco's and the Walmarts, they have taken great pains to secure whatever shipping is necessary, because air freight is limited, container ships are limited, containers themselves are limited. So if you're not one of the big boys, you're going to have trouble getting goods. And guys that are domestic manufacturers, we're already jammed because people are already playing catch up from the summer. And it's almost like too little too late for people who want to get goods for Christmas. So I would anticipate a lot of digital goods being exchanged for Christmas, but not as much physical goods as you would think. A lot of people are not going to get what they want this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mitch Cahn, Unionwear, cannot thank you enough for joining us today. And we'll definitely be connecting in the future.
Great. It was great talking to you. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thanks again, Mitch. Keep doing it.
All
in
right,
the
Dan.
USA.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Take care.